Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson, and I'm here in my home in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I want to talk to you about what's going on in the world right now with the panic, the chaos, the coronavirus, your money, and the markets, and talk about all of the things that I'm seeing. I am here in the middle of what I'm calling quarantine week, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, leave a comment below. I think that we all need to stick together and we all need to share information about what's going on in the world. And I want to share my information about what I'm seeing here outside of the Western world, where I believe the chaos is at a fever pitch. So if you'd like to see more videos like this over the course of this chaos that's going on right now, more of these kind of live, raw videos, leave a comment below. So I came back to Malaysia about 36 hours ago from Myanmar. I had gone to Myanmar for vacation. It seems every time I go to Myanmar, or I try to go to Myanmar, I've had a problem. There's like 3 or 4 different trips where every time something goes wrong. I did not leave Myanmar because there was a problem in Myanmar. Obviously, it is a frontier market like Cambodia, which we talk about. The healthcare there isn't as good as you'd have in Malaysia, but that wasn't my concern. In fact, I don't think it's the concern of everyone in Myanmar, because I was reading the newspaper in the lobby of the Strand Hotel the day that I left. And stuff about the coronavirus was buried on the 3rd page beneath headlines about how politicians are discussing raising the minimum wage and other stuff. It's not a big deal there. It wasn't even a huge deal here in Malaysia. Malaysia had some folks who went to a big religious event, and that created some new cases. But overall, Malaysia, up until recently, was not a big issue. And I still think it's not a big issue. But most of the cases of the coronavirus here have been as a result of people in sort of select pockets. And so what's going on right now here in Malaysia is, as in a lot of countries, the government has said, hey, for the next 2 weeks, we're shutting stuff down. Part of the reason why I came back was to make sure I could get back in. I'm not a Malaysian citizen. And it turns out that it's a possibility they would not have let me back in, even as a resident of Malaysia. And so I wanted to come back and make sure I was here in my home, make sure I could keep talking to you guys, and just make sure that business could go on as usual. And I have to tell you, I'm really excited. I don't know if that's the word, but I'm really happy to be back in Malaysia to weather this out. Because when I look at what's going on in the Western world, when I talk to friends of mine in Los Angeles and Chicago and places all over the Western world, to me, there's a lot of panic, and people have almost lost their minds. I mean, you guys are hoarding toilet paper. I went out yesterday here to the grocery store. The day before, everything shut down. Now, of course, grocery stores are still open. A lot of things actually are still open, and you still have people driving around, and you still have some people out. But mass gatherings are gone, businesses are shut down. And so people were going, they were stocking up on groceries. The lines here, the queues, not nearly as long as I'm seeing in pictures in a lot of other places. I'm talking to people who are waiting for hours in line. I'm waiting 5 or 10 minutes. And while you can definitely see that people are stocking up on stuff, rice, which is obviously a staple here in Asia, there was less of it. The shelves weren't perfectly manicured with the rice. I'm living in the city center, and so you've got these kind of ritzy grocery stores, and things are so perfectly stocked usually. It wasn't so perfectly stocked, but there was no shortage of rice. In fact, I was standing there. Some of the lower shelves of eggs got cleared out, but all the top shelves were full of eggs. And I was standing there, as people were saying, hey, short people were saying, hey, can you reach up and grab some eggs for me? And everything was very orderly. Nobody was at each other's throats. Everything was fine. Went out last night for a sort of final meal. Had a nice time. People are obviously concerned about what's going to happen to their jobs. And so I want to talk about how you should be prepared, because here's why I'm really happy that I'm in Malaysia. And here's why I think, honestly, I'd be happy to be in most of the homes that I have. I spend time in the country of Georgia, Montenegro. Those are countries that have also taken precautions. They've also closed down their border. They've also had some folks self-quarantine. But have been some of the safest places. I mean, I think Montenegro still may have 0 cases. I haven't looked at the numbers recently, but for the longest time they had 0 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. And so people are being cautious. They're concerned about tourism to the country. but there's not, the kind of panic that you see in the West. What I like about Malaysia is, number one, people understand that this is something that happens. Now, no matter what you say about this situation, someone is going to have a comment. Someone is going to have a retort, an excuse, a criticism, whatever the case may be. But here's the situation. And I talked about this in my first response to the coronavirus. Certainly things look more serious than they did than even a week ago or 10 days ago when I first started talking about this. That's the nature of how this stuff goes. And, people here in Malaysia, people here, I think, in the developing world, outside of the United States and a lot of countries in Europe, where things have just been, guaranteed, where, you've had a 10-year bull market, and that was just taken for granted. Some people forgot what it's like to have a tough time. In Europe or Western Europe, everything is handed to you. People here understand that you're going to have some tough times occasionally. You weather them out. You stockpile some cash. I was talking to a real estate agent the other day. I'm looking for some deals, looking for some bargains in an already soft market here, and with an increasingly soft currency. And they're saying, yeah, a lot of people we know are glad they stockpiled cash. And so people here, I think Asia in particular, and if you look at the Chinese here, for example, they always think long term. I don't think there are going to be that many panic deals here in Malaysia compared to many other Western countries, because people know they can ride it out. They know that assets have intrinsic value. They know that eventually things will be okay. And really, I think I'm glad to be in Malaysia for a couple of reasons. I mean, again, number one is it's not sheer chaos. People are just taking it as it goes. Things are working. Everything's fine. But also, being around folks who understand. You're not entitled to anything. Things are going to work out. It's not about taking it day by day. It's about looking long term and thinking, where's my stock portfolio going to be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What's my real estate going to be worth in the future? If you're buying good real estate in good locations, that's going to have intrinsic value in the future as the world continues to develop. The mindset, I think, of folks has to change. Nomad Capitalist is about go where you're treated best. It's about being different. Most people don't understand it. I mean, in good times, I say go and buy real estate in emerging and frontier markets. Go and buy real estate in these markets that I believe are underpriced. Go and take advantage of lower currencies. Go and diversify your portfolio. In good times, people are afraid to do that. And so imagine when you add this panic right now. Now, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. Many of you are entrepreneurs, you're investors, you have cash on hand, you control your own destiny. If you're the guy at the salon yesterday when I got my hair cut, obviously, we need to support those folks because, you know what? I worked at a restaurant once and I managed to save some money. And people can save money, but that's a little different story. For you, the entrepreneur, the investor, this is something that we're going to have to ride out. It's something that I think if you have the right mindset, you can thrive through. I mean, we are potentially going to have a record month this month in the history of our company. The mindset is the issue, and thinking differently is the issue. And so, again, even in good times, people find this stuff weird. They find it unnecessary. But I'm going to talk later this week about exactly why I believe that everything that we've talked about over the years is now coming to fruition. It's now proving to be correct. Having a safe haven, being diversified, not having all your money in one country. Those are things that are important. So go where you're treated best. It's, again, not popular in good times for a lot of folks, and it's scary in bad times, but go where you're treated best. Right now, where you're treated best, it seems, is in the U.S. dollar. Every currency has gone down practically against the U.S. dollar. Gold, silver, silver took a nosedive, Bitcoin. Where are the safe havens? Right? But to me, that is chaos. I looked at the guys behind nomadgold.com. We have an affiliate link. You can buy gold in Singapore. And the buy-sell spreads are incredible because there's incredible demand right now and the market is in chaos. You're not going to have a market in chaos forever. And If you're looking to buy property overseas right now, now's a great time to get into some of these currencies. The Colombian peso just lost like almost 20% of its value. There's a good opportunity to buy assets there. I'm not worried about it. I like owning good assets that have good appreciation potential, that have good yield, that have intrinsic value in their own markets, and that in some cases have a lifestyle value for me to enjoy. I'm not worried about some of these currencies going down. To me, it's a buying opportunity. And if you want to go where you're treated best, now's a great time to get in when people are panicking. If you'd like me to do more of these quarantine videos, leave a comment. I'll do it live here from the quarantine. I want to talk about, why you should be buying, and why you should be greedy when others are fearful. People are fearful right now, and I don't know how that you can sustain this mass chaos, mass panic. People aren't going to be huddled in their homes for years on end. Again, if you're living in these Western countries like the United States, I understand the media props it all up. I got sent some article the other day. Such and such is reeling from the panic. I don't see anyone here reeling in Malaysia. I talk to people who are afraid about their incomes, they're afraid about their businesses. And meanwhile, our business here is doing okay. Meanwhile, I have my team, working hard, and I'm going to have the chance to, have a little bit of free time for once, being inside and learn things, beef up my language skills, foreign language skills, learn a bunch of new stuff. We're going to be creating a lot of content over the next 2 weeks. And so for those of you who are looking at this, and you can change your mindset and get past the panic, now's a great time not only to be buying into some of these asset classes, buying into other currencies, moving some of your money and protecting yourself. Because, oh, by the way, if you don't trust your country, if you think things are so bad, don't you think they could lock down the banking system potentially? Don't you think they could limit your access to money, etc.? In Turkey, looking at doing deals, had a great deal lined up. It's got to wait. Government office won't let anyone sell their properties now. Imagine if that was your liquidity source. Imagine if that's what you needed to sell your property to get money. And now times are tough, right? So now's a great time to diversify. But I think what you're seeing is the bloom is off the rose in some of these countries. And so we'll talk more about that. If you're paying 50% tax and you're living in the United States and this is the response that you're getting, I don't know what you're paying for. Those are my initial thoughts. There's a lot of different thoughts. And if you have something that you want us to talk about, leave a comment below. If you want more of these videos, leave a comment below. I'm just talking off the cuff here about what my thoughts are, being in the middle of this, but not being in a place where there's extreme panic. What I want you to know is go where you're treated best, have options, because you never know what'll happen. And I think this reinforces that. For everyone who thought that real estate prices could never go down, for everyone who thought the economy always goes up, for everyone who thought they were always entitled to a job, and in this recent bull market, we'd always have 3% unemployment rates. Those things are being challenged. You cannot just default your way into success. From my perspective, having a safe haven personally is valuable. Being diversified is valuable. I feel perfectly comfortable. In fact, I've been really at peace in the last couple days, knowing that I'm okay. If you want, I'll do a video. I'm going to talk about the things that you need to survive a panic, because I think some folks have probably overinvested in good times. So those are some initial thoughts. I am here in my apartment with 0 bookshelves, actually, just some books. And I'm going to be here for the next 2 weeks. We can go out. I think we can walk around. We can get some fresh air. But I think doing this for 14 days, I think people getting well is going to help this whole situation so we can move on. Now, again, this is not inevitable for years on end or even months on end. I talked about Nomad Capitalist live in September. Now, if we come to, August and things are still really bad, we're going to postpone it. But I have no intention to do that right now because we have 6 months to go. And, the problem is people act like whatever's happening now will never change. If there's good times, it'll never end. If it's bad times, it'll never end. Let's panic. Let's hoard toilet paper. Guys, we all have to relax. Take care. Wash your hands. Stay inside if you can. Work from home. If you can't work from home, That's the first thing you need to solve, because that's going to solve a lot of other things in your life in general, panic or no. Those are some of my initial thoughts. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and leave a comment with what's on your mind right now. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.